Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading, and I want to talk to you for a minute about the market and go over my 14-day options income formula. And I did this as a presentation about a week or two ago. I want to give you the short version tonight or today whenever you're watching this. Of course, we've got a disclaimer in here. The reason we want to talk about this, of course, this is the S&P 500, the SPX. When you look at this chart, do you see a problem or an opportunity? And maybe it's a little of both, but we've had a crazy sell-off earlier this year, then a crazy rally all the way back up. And the question is, how do you trade this stuff? It's the volatility that we have seen over the last 3 or 4 5 years has really increased. So how do you trade that? How do you make heads or tails out of that? And if we compare this, if you notice, are these the same two charts? And they look very similar here, right? They're not. This is 2020. This is COVID. So that's when COVID happened. And this is tariff. Tariff sell-off, that's when that happened, right? Very similar. I think the same thing is going to happen over here. All things being equal, and we get some rate cuts and things go with the Fed and tariff resolve kind of thing. But the point of this is be ready. Don't think this thing is going to crash and burn. It might, but I think we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us, up or down. Now, in this market, when COVID happened, this was one of the best years that we had trading in my trading group. And we traded it all the way down, traded all the way back up. We've done the same thing this year here. Lots of great trades all the way down, lots of great trades all the way back up. So there is a method to the madness. And what you will find, if I can get this to advance here, is that I track all the trades. I track what strategies we use. I track all. I've had my trading group for 12 years now, and I track what works and what doesn't, and things evolve over time, so you have to be able to evolve with them, right? You have to adapt. You have to think like a fund manager and not a gambler, not a trader, right? I mean, we are all traders, but there's a difference in trading with a system, with a process versus gambling, chasing trades and, not having a plan on your trades and things like that. So I'm trying to be consistent, and I use 3 low stress strategies, trades, right? And in these volatile markets, they are working. So the real problem trading is not that the market's volatile. Markets are super wild right now, but they're too wild for static strategies, meaning we have to adapt to the market that we're in. And many retail traders, guess, again, they don't have a plan. They overtrade, they load the boat on one trade or two, and that's just not the way to do it. So we need a clear plan to manage the trades and to manage the risk for these quick market shifts, right? So what changes everything in your trading, right? You need to think like a money manager and not a gambler, honestly, because again, it's all about a strategy, having a process, repeatable decision-making process. That's what my fund manager formula is all about. So let me show you real quick. Here is the basics, the gist of it. Here's the fund manager formula. We get a read on the market. Now each one of these, we got 5 steps. Each one of these is a decision tree into making other assumptions, doing a little detective work on the market, making decisions to then ultimately get us where we need to be. Each one of these is going to have decision tree after decision tree to ultimately give us a very workable plan so that we can be consistent, right? That's the whole name of the game. So what are the strategies? So I'll go ahead and show you here that I like the call diagonal. This is, I've had great luck. I was going to say this is my number 1 strategy, but it's hard to put them in order 1, 2, 3. This is just a very good strategy that I like to use. If you've never used a call diagonal, don't let the name scare you. They work very well. I'm not going to go into why I like them and why not, and when to use them and why not, but that's the strategy. I'll give you an example. Here's one that recent one that we used, and on a trade like this, you can structure it to risk about $300 to make about 6,000. And here's the graph of it. If this is on Thinkorswim, I love Managed by the Greeks. There's your delta, gamma, theta, vega. I can show you how to do all this. It's pretty straightforward. But again, we risk about 300 bucks over here to make a maximum. There's 6,000, there's 7,000. So it's a good looking trade if you know how to structure it correctly, right? And that is one of the things that I like to do, is to use this trade and help people use this trade. The second one is a basic debit spread. The debit spread is one step, I guess, past or beyond just buying a straight call, because you're limited on the amount of risk. You know, it's kind of a capped risk type trade. That's one reason I like them. I'll show you an example of a trade we just did not too long ago in Oklo. We risked 300 bucks to make 1,200 bucks. Pretty straightforward, works pretty fast. You know, it's a great trade. You know, there is some secret sauce into setting these things up. So, you know, not all debit spreads are created equally, and not all trades and trade strategies work the same each time. So you have to know when to use it and when not to, and you know how to get the most bang for your buck out of these trades, right? The last one is our old faithful butterfly. We always like butterflies in any market condition. They work well with high volatility, low volatility, things like that. But again, you have to really know how to set them up, and there's some secret sauce in the way that we use them, and more importantly, when to use it and when not to use it, versus other type strategies. Let me show you an example. Here is a regular butterfly in Netflix, and on this one, $2,800 a risk to make 22,000. There's 10,000. There's 20,000. Great risk reward here on the butterfly. That's one of the reasons I like them. Again, you have to know when to use it and when not to use it, and how to structure it. This is a regular butterfly. You can do a ratio butterfly. You can do a broken wing. Lots of ways to do it, right? Again, that's what I like to help people with, is to understand the strategies to begin with, how to use them, when to use them, how to set them up correctly. But not only that, to build a plan around each one. And so why does this matter now? Well, as we talked about before, the markets are just so much more volatile than ever before, with algos gone wild and high frequency trading and all that kind of stuff. Guessing can be very expensive in this market if you're wrong. I have a 14-day trade plan that I try to remove all the emotional decision making out of it. It's more of a process. It's a lather, rinse, repeat is what we go for. And this keeps us from over trading. It helps us to focus on opportunities where we should be focusing in the right parts of the market, and avoiding the I hate to say gambling aspect, but that's kind of what it is. If you don't have a plan and you're just guessing, you're just throwing darts, you might as well just throw money away, right? So the reason I wanted to do this, I've done 2 different webinars on this and the methodology that I use, and I am putting a class, or I have put a class together, and I'm going to be teaching that tomorrow night. Depending on, I guess, when you watch this, but there will be a replay on it as well. But if you can join me, I'm at Simpler Trading, 14-day options income formula. This will be 4 separate classes. We'll go over the formula in one class, then we'll have, here, I'll show it to you right here. First class here, the second class, the whole class on diagonals, third class, a whole class on debit spreads, and the 4th session is going to be a whole strategy session on butterflies, right? So this is going to be really cool. I hope you guys can make it. We've got a lot of people attending, and I did want to put this out here on a really short version of the webinar that I did. We'll put a link here at the end of this video. Try to check it out if you can. Again, it's going to be a good class, 4 different sessions. They'll all be recorded. If you miss one, you can always watch it at any time that you wish. But with that being said, I hope that makes sense. Hope it helps. Get your trade plan together. Come join me in this class if you can. You will enjoy it, and you'll learn a lot. I have I'll do bullet points. I'll have checklists of everything to do, that type thing. Lots of tips and tricks and things like that. So try to make it, and we'll put a link here at the end of this, and hope to see you there. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Take care.